Out of control stress negatively affects physical and mental health, academic and job performance, decision making, and personal relationships. In this, the first of 6 chapters that we'll cover in this course, we'll take a close look at a skill that's foundational to a healthy and happy life: stress management. By the end of this chapter, you'll be able to explain stress, identify types of stress, analyze the causes and effects of stress, identify your current stress levels, consider the harmful effects of stress, differentiate good stress from bad stress, develop your own personal 2-step stress management system, and build awareness of your stress management abilities. Lecture 1 covers the first 4 of these objectives: explain stress, identify types of stress, analyze the causes and effects of stress, and identify your current stress levels. In order to get the most out of this class, you'll want to make sure to read the text as we move through the course. You'll also want to complete each of the exercises and each of the check your comprehension parts of the reading. That said, let's get started. When it comes to school and learning, we've all experienced stress to one degree or another, and the things that cause stress differ from one student to another. If stress restricts our learning, and it does if it's the wrong kind and degree, there are actions we can take to remedy or at least alleviate this problem. We don't have to allow stress to bring us down. Keep that in mind as you travel through the course. Plenty of valid surveys have proven that stress is the main barrier to academic success. Often we find ourselves busily trying to sharpen our time management skills. Some will choose to focus on study methods, when really, the first thing we should do is to get our stress levels under control. Managing stress is crucial if we hope to find success in the various aspects of our lives. But managing stress effectively is only possible when we know what it takes to put that management into action. And in order to put stress management into action, we need to grasp the defining characteristics of this phenomena we call stress. First, stress is not necessarily a bad thing. As you'll learn, the altogether elimination of all stress would be a disaster. For example, the physiological stress, often referred to as the fight or flight response that we sometimes experience as a result, say, of an emergency, serves to protect us. And watching a horror film wouldn't be nearly as exciting without the mental stress that comes with it. Cognitive stress due to deadlines can motivate us to get something done. We need stress in a lot of situations. So, that said, if stress isn't all bad, then what should the goal of stress management be? Stress management, we'll soon discover, is about walking the fine line between good stress for optimal performance and bad stress where your performance is greatly impaired. The best way to define stress is in terms of how our bodies and minds react to stress. It's important to understand that we often have limited, if any, control over events, people, and situations. Events happen, people exist, situations occur. And these are the contributing factors to all stress. This is and will always be true. What's key is how we react to these factors. This is referred to as stress reaction, how our minds and bodies react to events, people, situations in our lives, largely shaped by our perceptions. When something happens to, at, or around us, unless we're unconscious or sleeping, we must respond, even if the response is minimal. We always react in one way or another, or to one degree or another. What we do have control over is just how we react to events, people, and situations in our lives. But this isn't always easy. It's not always easy to direct our reactions. And by direct our reactions, I'm not referring to things like my stomach was twisted in knots, my heart was racing, or my brain was fried. These things are the results of the reactions. Think of these as types of results of reactions. In other words, your stomach wasn't twisted in knots because you were next to give a speech to a class filled with your peers. Nope. Your stomach was twisted in knots as a result of your reaction to the situation. I know I am next to give a speech. I begin to doubt my abilities despite all the time that I put into preparing, and then my stomach becomes twisted in knots. And this is an example of mind body connection. The result is the product of the response. We can drive this point home using the example of donating blood. One donor is calm and relaxed, while another is highly stressed. The way you look at a situation has a big effect on how you feel about it. Hans Selye was a pioneering Hungarian-Canadian endocrinologist, that's a mouthful, who conducted important scientific work on responses to stressors. He developed many of the terms associated with stress and that we'll use in this course. He referred to anything that causes stress as a stressor or trigger. It's important to become aware of the stressors in your life in order to learn to manage them. A baseline assessment can help to this end, and I would highly encourage you to take the time to give exercise 1-2 a try. It's found on page 8. In the next lecture, we'll be analyzing types of stress, considering harmful effects of stress, and distinguishing between good and bad stress.